could be, it's Randy Bradshaw, but this is a Dido barriers, about called Randy. I go, when did you start working for this company? But he like, and I didn't want to call him up and say, here, let me see if I pull him up here.
Hi, John. Packet. Public records request.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
I need a truck.
I can't find him. My phone says 601. I usually go by that. All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. Please silence your electronic devices. We have a roll call of council.
Mayor Hartless.
Here.
Vice Mayor Woodell.
Here.
Councilmember Shantz. Here. Councilmember Daniels, absent. Councilmember De Leon.
Here.
Councilmember Grenwell.
Here.
Councilmember Jink.
Present.
All right, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for Bree McCrae's invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you pray with me? Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for the town of Parker, and I thank you for the mayor and the vice mayor and the council members who work to make the town of Parker a better place to live in. And Lord, I just ask that you would grant them wisdom and guidance as they go about making decisions that affect Parker and the surrounding areas. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, our next item is call to the public. We have two requests today. The first one is Mariah Jimenez. Unless Courtney wants to go first, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Mariah Jimenez. I am 15 years old, and I serve as a president of Youth for Youth Club at Parker High School. I'm here today representing the voices of young people in Parker who feel left out of the decision-making process regarding the recent approval of recreational marijuana dispensaries in our town. I would like to begin by saying that I understand my words may not reverse the decision that has already been made, but I believe it's important to put on record how this decision makes the youth of Parker feel and how we believe it will affect us and future generations. When the council voted 4-3 ordinance on July 1st of 2025, it was done without perspective or inputs from schools, youth leaders, or teen-focused organizations, which feels like a missed opportunity to hear from the very population that could be most impacted. Much of current propaganda says that marijuana is harmless and better regulated when it's legal, but many of us are not so sure. Marijuana remains a gateway drug. According to the Center of Disease Control, teens who use marijuana are 2.5 times more likely to misuse prescription drugs and are more likely to experiment with substances like alcohol, nicotine, and eventually opioids such as fentanyl. This decision also increases physical and mental access to a drug. Legal or not, it's still a controlled substance. You may not realize how influential just the presence of a dispensary can be. Its visibility makes it feel more normal and safe, even for us teens. Some of the proposed dispensary locations are just blocks from schools, parks, and churches. Research from the Journal of School Health found that students attending schools within a 1-mile radius of a dispensary were 4.6 times more likely to use marijuana in the last 30 days compared to peers who weren't near dispensaries. Regarding the economic benefits, Parker has a population of about 3,500 residents. According to the data from states like Colorado, small towns of this size rarely see significant revenue, often bringing in less than $50,000 per year in cannabis tax revenue. When you subtract the cost of law enforcement, zoning, traffic monitoring, and public health education, the economic benefit may be marginal, if not negative. Lastly, there's a psychological message this sends to kids. When something is legal and placed in your schools and neighborhoods, it feels endorsed by leaders and adults we are told to respect. That changes the way young people view risks and choices. I wanted to make it clear I'm not here to judge the council's decisions, but to advocate for the youth whose futures are being shaped by you. The voices of the youth in Parker deserve to be a part of the conversation, not as an afterthought, but as an active stakeholder. I encourage the council to include youth representation in future policy discussions, particularly when those decisions affect our health, mindset, and environment. Thank you for listening, and I hope today makes it clear that we, the youth, are paying attention and we care deeply about the future of this town. That's it.
Thanks, Mariah. Okay, our next call to the public is Courtney Collum.
Hello, everybody. My name is Courtney Com, 616 South Navajo. I was just here as backup to make sure that the girls were able to say everything that they wanted to say. I do want to say thank you to council for, honoring call to the public and allowing them the opportunity to speak. This topic has created a lot of opportunities for really great conversation, and I hope those conversations continue to happen. And I know that there's going to be some more space for that to happen as well. So thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is Chamber Director Report, which I guess we're not going to have today, I have to say. All right, our consent agenda is the Town of Parker meeting minutes of July 15th, 2026. I see one thing that needs to be repaired on here. Item 2, marijuana ordinance. It says Mayor Hartless, Daniels, and Grenwald voted nay, but Daniels voted abstain. She abstained, I believe. No?
No, she was a nay.
She was a nay, okay. All right. My bad, all right. What did I hear something else?
You said 2026 when you read it aloud, if we could just have 2025.
Okay, got it.
Make a motion to approve.
So moved and seconded to approve the minutes from July 15th, 2025. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, regular agenda, discussion and action to approve, deny the Parker Jailhouse Historic Building Bid Award to G&G Specialty Contractors, PC, Inc. for $308,453 and execute the contract. Steve.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Public Works Department respectfully requests Mayor and Council to authorize staff to award G&G Specialty Contractors, Inc., the Parker Jailhouse Historic Building Rehabilitation Project for $308,453. This project was published for bids June 25th, 2025. A pre-bid meeting was held July 9th, 2025. 3 contractors attended that meeting. July 24th, 2025, the bid opening was held and 2 bids were received. Concord General Contracting bid was $405,334, and G&G Specialty Contractors bid was $308,453. G&G specializes in historic restoration and rehabilitation. In 2023, they performed exterior brick repointing, truss restoration, and interior rehab on the First United Methodist Church of Glendale, built in 1923. In 2022, they performed a library restoration on the 100-plus-year-old Glendale Library, replacing structural posts, replacing the historic doors and jambs, and repaired adobe walls in numerous locations. They have all the experience and expertise to perform the scope of work on this project. The fiscal impact, this project is partially grant-funded via the Arizona State Parks Heritage Grant that was awarded in July of 2023. It is a matching grant, $107,500 from the grant and $100,000 from the town. To date, the town has paid for half of the architectural work and has been reimbursed for half of that as well. In the adopted FY 25-26 capital improvement project budget, $207,000 was budgeted for this project to be completed. Unfortunately, there isn't enough funds budgeted to complete the project, so I'll be working with G&G to do some value engineering and to reduce the costs. In addition, I have reached out to Arizona State Parks to seek additional grant funding.
Yeah, and I think this project's been going on for a long time, and probably a few years ago, we wouldn't have even considered it, I feel like, but, and when we talked about it last time, there was a lot of talk in the community about, waste of money and this and that, but there is more to it. We discussed the fact that it would be a black stain on us with Arizona Parks for any future projects if we backed out now because it's gone so far. And as you look through this paperwork, you see, it's like 80 pages, just the contract, so you can see why it's expensive, I think. There's a lot of stuff involved, so.
Yeah, it's very detailed as far as what the contractor is required to do in order to maintain the actual registration with the National Historic Building registration. So if we don't follow those guidelines, essentially you lose that registration, and at that point, what's the sense of keeping the building then? So yes, it is a significant amount over budget as far as the bid. What I'm trying to do is phase the project, so this is just the first phase, and we're gonna try to obviously get the cost down to a point where we can get this first phase done. Essentially, I need to get it watertight. Once I get it watertight, then we can work on the other items and get more grant funding to do so. Unfortunately, the way the grant program works, you can't request more funds just because your bid, was higher than the grant amount. So that's just not possible to do. So awarding the bid to the contractor, working with them to bring down the cost is what we have to do. And then we'll get to the point where we do a certain portion of the project, and then it'll be use up those funds, and then we'll reach out to the Heritage Grant folks again and apply again for the continued completion of the grant. So this could be, a 5-year project at the end of the day.
Is there any information you could share about like local contractors, subcontractors that could be worked in, or are they set that they have to use a certain group of people?
The contractor, this G&G Specialties, can use whatever subcontractors they want to use in the project. They provided a list when they put in their bid, so they have a list of subcontractors that do work for them. So that's who's going to be doing the work. But yeah, they're welcome to.
Some of them, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
They're welcome to utilize whatever contractors, subcontractors they feel is necessary to complete the project.
Yeah, the ones that were listed, they were out Metro Phoenix area and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, so it depends on the contractor. So they have the ability to hire whatever subcontractor they feel is necessary
Will
to
you
do the
be
work.
asking or advocating for local contractors?
Absolutely, we always do.
Okay.
I know you mentioned that this is getting done in phases, this being the first one. Is there a way that the contractor would be willing to do this first phase in phases? Like, I know there's the roof, for example. There's like 3 main areas in this one, right? Like the roof, the walls, and like earthwork and all that kind of stuff is included in there.
Yeah, so the roof structure, the carpentry work, and then just doing the work on the walls. So it's got to be made safe, obviously, to occupy. It's not safe to occupy at this point. So part of that is the structural improvements that have to be done. So once the roof comes off, They'll make improvements to the actual, the structural foundation, and then the new roof and the parts that they're gonna restore and keep go back onto it. That's about all that I'm looking for in this particular phase. So it is a matter of working with them to see what we can do to do things in-house. You know, if we have to do things in-house to help save some costs, you know, we've done that in the past, obviously. So things like that will be talked about, and just, yeah, to try to get the cost down. They know, meaning the architect knows that we don't have enough funds to do this project completely. So that's why I had to change it to a phased project in the first place, so we could then continue to do the work. So yeah, we'll try to do whatever we can just to get this first set of grant funds completed and done, and then apply again for the next. So whatever that ends up being, I'm not sure what the contractor is gonna agree to, and obviously some input from the architect team as well.
All right.
Okay, any more discussion, questions?
Just don't get real excited about a jail, but I love history. I don't know. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I think a few years ago, if I would have known we would be in this position, I probably would have said, just leave it or just mow it down, honestly. But I think we're too far in now to make that decision, so. So I'll make a motion to approve the jailhouse building bid award to G&G.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 2, discussion and action to approve, deny the purchase of an AccuTab chlorinator unit for Parker South from Aquaflow Solutions for $81,550. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Public Works Water Department respectfully request Mayor and Council to authorize staff to purchase the AccuTab Power Pro 3075 chlorination unit from Aquaflow Solutions for Parker South for $81,550.89. Since 2022, the Water Department has been replacing all of the chlorinators that are way beyond their service life. The chlorinators in the pump house, well 6 and well 8, have already been replaced with new AccuTab chlorinators. The existing chlorinator for Parker South water system is the original when the system was built in the early 2000s. The Hammonds, the company that manufactured that chlorinator, currently sold the business in 2009, so no parts or equipment to maintain it are no longer available. The AccuTab chlorinators are manufactured by Axial LLC. They're a sole source provider for this specialized equipment and is only sold through their authorized distributors, so there were no competing proposals gathered. The funds to pay for this will come from the approved FY26 budget for the Water Department capital budget, where staff budgeted $81,550.89 for this purchase.
Okay. Any questions, discussion? Budgeted item, so we entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the AccuTab chlorinator unit for Parker South. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 3, discussion action to approve, deny license agreement between the town of Parker and the Parker Little League for use of Aaron Hill Field. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is to approve the licensing agreement between the town of Parker and the Little League. The background, with the recent renovation of Aaron Hill Field, the Parks and Recreation Committee, along with the Public Works Director, made various recommendations for usage of the new field at a work session on February 12th, 2025. Those recommendations were approved at the following meeting held on February 18th, 2025. During that discussion, possible licensing agreement between the town and Little League was discussed for ongoing use of the Aaron Hill Field. The attached agreement sets forth the responsibilities of both parties and ensures that the proper use and maintenance of the field is adhered to in order to extend the life of the facility and to provide both parties with clear expectations.
Well, admittedly, I didn't get this far in my packet, so is anything different? It's all stuff we talked about?
Yeah, it's all stuff we talked about. It's pretty straightforward. It does put accountability on both parties, essentially. I feel as though the town is doing our part, Public Works staff is doing our part to maintain the facility. We're not getting the same sort of response from Parker Little League, unfortunately. So there's been numerous occasions in this first initial season in which they have not followed what they should be doing with locking the facility after use, with not using, sunflower seeds and things like that on the field. So those things are not being done currently, and there's no accountability on their end. In addition to that, they're calling on staff, in addition to me, where they have the responsibility to unlock and to turn on the lights. So we issue keys, we program the lights, and they have the key to turn on the button to the lights. Well, when they don't do that, then they reach out to staff. So it's costing the town and my department, obviously hours and overtime hours to respond to these incidents. And it's multiple times. It's just not a one-time deal. This is a weekly thing that happened during the season. And it's unfortunate. And there needs to be accountability for the use of that field. I'm all for the field being used as it is and opening it up to the public. But if we're going to do this, then we need to have these clear expectations on what their responsibility is once they are using the field.
It lays out the responsibilities in this portion. What's the repercussions? I guess I didn't see necessarily.
It's all listed in here. There's essentially the way it's drafted. It just talks about obviously fees, and that's a big part of it. They should be paying some fees in the deposits. So taking their deposit at the end of the season or during the course of the season to recoup the costs that the town is incurring by going out there and picking up and opening and doing all this other stuff that they should be doing themselves. Essentially, their deposit would go away. Per se, but that's the way it works.
Okay, so you're more specifically for the light activation, the gate unlocking, the $25 per.
Yeah, and I hadn't had a chance to really talk to Christine about some of that, and there it might be vague. My only concern is, based on how many times it happened the first season, we're going to blow through that 250 real quick.
That's what I was going to ask you, the deposit.
And we're going to end up coming out of our pocket to do these things and not get a recoup for those services.
And Mayor and Council, we did add, so in addition to the deposit, I did add an additional $25 per call charge to activate lighting, a $25 charge per call to unlock the gate. If for some reason, so if let's say that happened right over a 3-week period, the town invoices and sends the bill, and then they don't pay, that is a breach of the contract. So we could then just terminate the license at that point. So that's essentially the remedy.
Yeah. Well, and there's a 30-day any cause termination really on either side of it, right?
Sure,
Any
and we'd
cause
allow them
termination.
to try to cure the breach, right? So obviously if they paid up, that'd be great. But if that's going to continue and, ultimately, yes, the town could just decide to end the agreement.
With cause is 14 days and without cause 30 days.
Correct, yes. Yeah.
Okay, Steve, you and I have talked about this before, but this agreement feels very exclusive to Little League. They have the right to use this Monday through Saturday, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. for months. So if any other group wants to use it, too bad. So there needs to be a way where, let's say they're not using the park that day. Can anyone else use the park? It's just so exclusive. And now that we have travel ball leagues that are going on in Havasu, we have kids here trying out for that. When they're practicing, is that part of Little League? I don't know, but they are practicing. I've seen them over there. So I guess I'm just concerned that Little League has an exclusive. And if a travel ball team wants to form, I don't know that they can, because that field is designated to Little League for months.
Yes, that is an issue that certainly council needs to take into consideration, for sure. Do we,
I think it's through November,
it's
like
really,
February to
it's really
November.
hard, I think Christina can talk to this, but to really have a contract with somebody and then allow another group to use the field during those during those usage hours that they've requested. I think we can still have the ability, and I think we still have the ability to have it used outside of those hours. So in the morning time to 4 PM or whatever their park usage. But at the same time, you know, most of the time during the summer, you know, you're going to want to use it during those evening hours when it starts to cool off. So yes, to your point, it really locks the Little League in solely to the use of that field, and that is unfortunate.
And I'm not opposed to Little League. I think what I'm opposed to is the length of time that only Little League organization can use the field, excluding if anyone else wanted to use that field for anything. Again, travel ball, a tournament, everything's going to revolve around a lease where they may not even be playing, but they still have the exclusive right to the park. That's my concern.
Is that what this says? They have
what that-
exclusive, right?
Yeah.
This is
Is
exactly
their
what it
season
is.
from February to November? Is it
Yeah,
that
so
long?
they obviously have two different seasons. They have a regular season, and then they have what is called a fall ball. Well, this year, fall ball started already. Started in August.
Probably
So
dictate
that's,
the start
that,
and end date.
that is not typical, at least in my time. I don't, maybe Nora can talk differently. I don't know the history before I got here, but starting in August, that's a first. Usually it's later in the,
Fall.
you know, October, November timeframe is the fall ball. It's never started in August in my time. So, yeah, as far as the use, maybe because there is a new field, they feel that they want to get on there and do it. To Marion's point, you know, travel ball and leagues like that, them maybe wanting to use it for that purpose as well. I don't know the reason or why they are starting so early this year. I have no idea.
What if we were to add something in when they're not in use, that the town retains the ability to schedule or allow other outside groups to use it instead of locking it in? And, you know, we go reach out to Parker or Little League and say, are you guys using it that time, this time? And then maybe an outside agency comes to the town, then we can say, yeah, absolutely, you can use it. It's not being used right now for Parker Little League.
Well, according to the agreement, on March 1st of each year of this agreement, the parties shall develop an exhaustive schedule with dates, times, and then, you know, for the upcoming season, classes, other educational practices.
Is there something in there saying that when it's,
3.1.
when they're not using it, then it's still off limits to the
Proposed
outside party?
schedule, the proposed schedule and use shall be subject to the town review and approval. But you're doing this in March, so it's,
Is the word exclusive in there?
Well, and Mayor and Council, so the way that the license agreement is designed is just that. I mean, it is essentially you're giving a group or a party, right, in exchange for funds for them to have exclusive use during the set time period. And 5.1 does actually say the 4 to 10, Monday through Saturday, and that's from that February through November. So you can certainly, if we need to modify the time period, that was just based, I think, on the understanding of what their seasons are. But certainly if we wanted to have other conversations about shortening that time period or having it more, maybe the Little League season ends at a certain point and then we have more flexibility at this time of year, I mean, certainly we can make those adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, I think to really open it up, while the Little League isn't using the fields or that particular field, maybe just having it first come, first use type of situation during the 3 months of summer or something, to where they don't have the ability to block out the entire, best times to actually use the field. It's first come, first served type of thing. And maybe you just limit the amount of times that you can block out, the number of days that you're gonna use it. Allow them just, 1 day per week or something. We'd have to have something, some other policy in the Park and Rec rules to talk about that. It wouldn't be in this specific agreement, but we could limit the amount of time that the Little League uses it in that manner for just their regular season, and then leave it open during the non-regular season.
Or when they give that schedule in March, for example, if they have a free weekend and somebody wants to have a tournament because they have it locked up on Saturday till 10 o'clock
Right.
PM.
Really hampers the rest of the community to be able to use the field. Obviously, there's, the way that the fee schedule is, you do have to realize that those that don't want to use it outside of Little League have to pay these fees and the deposits to be able to use the field. So there have been a number of occasions that we're finding that the folks are going in, jumping over the fence, using the field for its intended purpose right now, that aren't a part of Little League, that would probably love to, possibly get it as a park usage and rent it out for a day and use it for just family or whatever.
And they can't.
And they can't.
Well, how about some language saying in there, any interested party to also rent out the field throughout this particular portion shall work with the president of Little League with good
Well, the
faith
town would
effort.
need to approve it, I would think.
Yeah, it would still have to be applied for that, but if there is a request to want to use the field during their non-usage time, they should work with the Park Little League president in good faith effort. If it's not determined that good faith effort was not done by whatever party, then that's a consideration of violation of the contract, and the term contract can be breached at that particular point. So it forces if there is open availability, to work with the Little League as a whole, so that yes, there still is that availability for Little League to do what they do and need to play, but if there is openings, they need to work with Little League to figure that out, so it doesn't put the additional work, say, on the Town of Parker staff for trying to coordinate all the open times availabilities. But if they're not working in good faith, then that could be violation of the contract.
Yeah,
as a whole.
I don't think they need to work with Little League.
Right.
Because we'll have to turn on the lights.
That's
I
still
mean, at
giving
that
Little
point,
League
yeah.
full control if they're also dictating who else uses it. They can say,
Yeah, and I think that, I know Miss Christina might want to chime in here, but I think that would be some issues that might not be able to work out in the agreement. I have no idea. but-
We're really giving them control of the field.
And
you
that-
know?
Yeah, we
that
sure
type
are.
of usage
But
and
this contract is,
exclusivity of the usage generally comes with a larger monetary figure than we're collecting.
Yeah.
So if it monetarily made sense to let them use it for 4 months at a time, like we actually didn't get into the red, accommodating them, I could see that making sense. If we actually made a few bucks.
Yeah.
But it's free right now, and, well, essentially, I mean, the fees, and when it's that cheap, they're gonna use it as much as they possibly can, and they're gonna take it from all the other individuals that would like to also rent it out and use it.
And I think like what Steve was kind of hitting on is we spent, $700,000+ on this, and this year alone, you've already saw infractions with the sunflower seeds, the destroying of certain things, and we haven't held them accountable at all this year with any kind of fee schedule. But also I'm seeing, kids out there with the lights turned on, and there's 5 kids out there, I'd like to see a little bit more kids if we're paying for the lights to be turned on and everything. Also, Steve, do we have this license agreement with them at City Park? No? So, because I know a few times soccer's requested during soccer season to use the outfields for practice and everything, and we've in past been turned away because baseball's reserved it, or the softball leagues on the Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Well, previously, yes,
Yeah.
to your point, they've worked, the 2 leagues have worked to try to work out the schedule so they can both use the fields during the week.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm just curious because I do feel like this is one-sided just for Little League reserving the Aaron Hill field rather than we built this field for the community. and the community's not being able to use it.
Right.
Just, we're being exclusive just to Little League.
But it is literally designed for Little League. I
Little
mean, we
League
didn't
and
design
softball,
and build the
yes.
field. We put the turf in there. But this field was sponsored by the Diamondbacks for Little League, basically. I mean,
For youth baseball.
yeah.
Yep.
But now that includes club ball and different opportunities for tournaments.
And like Marion was hitting on, this travel ball that we're talking about, it's not conducted by Little League. So literally, Little League holds this, and these kids that are practicing for the Vipers up in Havasu can't use this field. That's what's been occurring.
So
during
yeah, that was unbeknownst to me. So
Yeah. So these kids are going to play travel ball,
Right.
and I know there's about 20 Parker kids that went and played and tried out for this travel ball team in Lake Havasu City. So if we go exclusive for Little League, those kids can't be a part of it because they're not associated with our Little League. So
interesting. I think that's what we
What if,
talked
what
about.
if they do actually make a schedule in March for the whole year, which they're supposed to do, if they did that and we just said, this is when you can use it, at the times you've indicated you'll be having, not just a blanket 4 to
Right.
10, 6 nights a week, but this is our schedule, this is when we need it, and then we can open it up at other times. But those other groups are still gonna be under the same fee schedule, I'm guessing.
Right. Right. Whatever group or an individual wants to use the field has to follow the fee schedule to be able to use it, which is what its intended purpose is. But to your point, yeah, having the schedule is nice. I don't know from that standpoint, the reason why they want it, Monday through Friday is because they supposedly consistently use the field. But to Marion's point, that's not the case. There's days, obviously, when they're not using the field, but yet it's reserved. So you've got an empty field sitting there.
yeah, 7 days
And
for
yet the
practice.
park or the field is reserved. So they don't necessarily use the field every single day, but they have a big, huge block in which they've reserved it. And they're the only group that can use it. But having a schedule and have them specific, or just limiting the amount of time that they can block it out during their non-season, which is, this is a non-regular season of Little League. This is the summer, like I said. It's the first for me having them use the fields this early. So limiting the amount of time that they can use it, I think is probably a good thing, so the rest of the community can enjoy it.
Setting a standard schedule for us, kind of adopting whatever leagues do in other parts of the state, maybe. Because I mean, like Randy said, it is a Little League field. There's hundreds of kids that participate, so I can't ignore that. But
Right.
I mean, when it costs you money and it's a headache like that, then I don't know, maybe we need to adjust the fee schedule, because the usage of a Little League versus the usage of Joe Blow's family baseball get-together would be two different usages, you know what I mean? So you would think the fee should also reflect that. A league is gonna do a lot more damage than a one-time use, I don't know, maybe we need to revisit.
There
the
is
fee
fees.
schedule.
Or fees, but yes.
Or can we just add in that language where if they're not utilizing it or using the field, then the town retains the right to schedule or allow those other groups to, per the policy, request usage then. So couldn't we just put that now instead of like tabling it and then, or do we need to table it?
No.
I don't
I
know, that
would
would-
prefer to table it and maybe come up with some language and then bring them in here. I mean, there should be somebody here tonight. Maybe they didn't know this was on here, but is Corey the president?
Yeah, he is involved with that.
Maybe Corey should be here to kind of defend some of this stuff. I don't know.
And then I move that we table it.
The question is, are they okay to still use it? We don't have this agreement, but they're using it anyway.
Yeah, they're using it anyways. I mean,
Because-
because they completed the park usage, and so until we have, this agreement in place, it's open to whoever wants to put in a park
But
usage.
somewhere in here, they have to sign this agreement too.
Yes, they do.
I kind of prefer just filling out park usage as needed, and if that means they have to fill it out every single week and it has to be approved, then what everybody else has to do too.
I believe there is a season usage. Don't we have that in our portion? They probably
Yeah,
have the season usage,
Yeah.
so that blocks.
Because
out for
normally
like
when you
3 or 4
sign up,
months.
it's like so many weeks and so many age groups. And I want lots of kids playing on the field. I just think when we exclude people, then not everyone has access to either practice or play or rent that field.
Well, my biggest thing right now is if he doesn't have a registered league with the kids that are out there, what COI is covering them? Because these are just kids out here practicing for the Vipers League. Who's covering them? That's my biggest thing. If they're not a registered athlete with Little League right now. So if they get hurt out there, you know, who's liable? That's my biggest thing. So.
Well, in that sense, they almost should have exclusive use then, because they're the only ones that are putting up
But-
insurance.
Right.
But I'm saying the kids that are out there right now aren't part of a Little League fall ball, Little League winter ball. They're doing it primarily to practice for Vipers baseball in Havasu.
But they're there under the Little League umbrella?
No.
No.
But we don't require people to.
So that's-
Who are visiting, excuse me, we don't require people that attend the parks now to carry any kind of policies or anything when they're playing at the city field or even here in Parker or anything else. But this is an organization. Parker Little League is an organization. I'm
Right.
sure they're going to have their liability insurance in place and their coverages and all that. That's nice that they have that. But, you know, when people are playing, I take my grandkids out and they're at the park, I know I don't have to carry an umbrella of insurance just to walk onto the park, so I don't see any difference. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's exactly right. We don't have anybody necessary to have insurance to use anything at the park, so Little League is really the only exclusive user of any of the park amenities for the town, really, so.
Ray, did you make a motion to
Well, just
table
gonna
it or?
table, I mean,
I'll
that way
second
we
that.
can get Corey here and we get more feedback in from them.
It's not gonna disrupt
We could
anything.
certainly bring it up at next week's Park and Rec meeting. We could discuss that I took it to council and it was tabled, and these are the things that he should obviously put his eyes on it and
Yeah.
see that, and then whatever input that he has, but I'll bring up these items at the meeting, so they're aware and he's aware of what the concerns that we have.
So Ray made a motion,
Second.
Zaffer seconded, to table this item to a future meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks,
Thank you,
Steve.
Mayor and Council.
Item 4 is discussion action to approve, deny the purchase of a Kenwood mobile radio for $5,420 for the department's K-9 vehicle. Chief Bailey?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The Parker PD is respectfully requesting to purchase a Kenwood radio, the amount of $5,420.60 for the department's K-9 vehicle. The background for this, the department was recently awarded funding through the Arizona Department of Public Safety's Border Security Grant to purchase and outfit a new K-9 vehicle. With this funding, we're able to purchase a mobile radio to install in the vehicle. Received 2 quotes through Healy Electronics, one from Motorola in the amount of $7,522.53, and the second for the above stated amount. Fiscal impact, there's no fiscal impact as we've already received the funds through this grant.
So no brain. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Discussion action to approve, deny the purchase of an evidence cold storage locker from RTF Manufacturing for $9,150. Mike, Chief Bailey?
Again, the Parker PD is seeking approval to purchase a new evidence cold storage locker through RTF Manufacturing, utilizing a purchase agreement between the town of Parker and RTF Manufacturing. The Parker Police Department recently moved into our new facility in November. In the new facility, we have a small evidence storage and processing room with pass-through lockers for non-refrigerated items for evidence and safekeeping. We are currently utilizing a small refrigerator freezer that is not designed for evidence as a cold storage for our evidence. This refrigerator, again, is not designed, and lacks the proper locking mechanism to alleviate any chain of custody integrity issues. Evidence cold storage lockers are designed to prevent any sort of tampering and maintain a chain of custody that ensures anyone who is not authorized to handle that evidence, just as our regular evidence and property lockers, this refrigerated evidence locker will also be a pass-through unit. The fiscal impact found only 2 companies who make these units and received quotes from both distributors. Sentinel, which is sold by Granger, is approximately $13,489 with shipping. This product would not be in stock until the end of September. RTF manufacturer sells their own unit with a price of $9,150, including shipping. This product is in stock and will ship as soon as the order is placed. Again, there's a 1-year warranty with this unit for the unit itself and also the compressor. Funding for this purchase would partially come from the Department of Justice's grant for agencies seeking accreditation that we received in 2022. This amounts to approximately $4,000. Remainder would come from our fiscal year 25-26 budget.
What sort of stuff would you put in this thing?
Typically, it's blood.
Curious.
If we have like a DUI, if we do a blood draw, it's put in there. We currently have 2 units downstairs. One's a refrigerator, one's a freezer. I believe the freezer has been broken forever. We have something that we need a temporary storage until it's transported back over here. For years, we've been using this little small refrigerator. It's like a dormitory or a little office thing that we use. But again, it's just not, with us going through our accreditation process, we're finding that it's not adequate and there is no chain of custody. It's in an area where anybody coming through can have access to it if they wanted to. So we just need something more secure for this.
I make motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the purchase. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6, discussion action to approve, deny MOU between the Town of Parker and the FBI Northern Arizona Safe Trails Task Force for the designation of a task force member to conduct federal investigations within the Town of Parker. Chief Bailey.
Again, the department is seeking approval to enter into a MOU with the FBI for this Safe Trails Task Force. I don't know why it's called Safe Trails Task Force. That's just what they have. The background, the FBI's Northern Arizona Safe Trails Task Force officer, or TFO program, allows our department to designate an officer to be a task force member with the FBI. This will allow our department to conduct federal investigations within the Town of Parker. I do want to preface this is a part-time position, so it will not be a full-time where this officer is farmed out to the FBI out of the Havasu office. They will just conduct investigations in town as needed. There is a chance that if there is a crime that has occurred in Indian country, say in the Valley or even Fort Mojave, they could respond to help FBI or BIA with this as well. It's a as needed basis. This is more so for stuff in town. Again, we are in Indian country, so we feel the need is pretty important for this. As our officers, our FBI agents come out of Havasu, they are short-staffed up there as well too, and they utilize BIA. They kind of have an on-call rotational basis for them. This is just an added component to help with this, with a lot of the investigations that could go federal. There is no fiscal impact to the department or to the town other than if we are utilized any overtime occurrences, but we can kind of minimize that if need be with adjustments to their schedule.
Is there any like specialized training or anything?
They would have to go through certain training. They'd have to get deputized through the FBI and also the marshal's office. And I had to put some little tabs here because I kind of figured these questions would come up. Let me find it here. They have to go through a background check through FBI. They have to go through certain trainings to become deputized in Title 18 and Title 21 of federal law for this. What that looks like, I don't know. If it's like a week, 2 weeks, online, I have no idea. I'd have to get information, more clarification from that.
They're not going through like the actual FLETC Academy and all that? You have somebody lined up for it already? Or?
What we do is our 2 sergeants are investigators if it rises to that. So we'd have one of our sergeants be the TFO in this case. So
Chain of command, they're deputized under FBI. Who do they fall under
so
for supervision and accountability?
during the if they're working an investigation, they'd be basically farmed out to FBI. during that investigation, they fall
They're
under.
not Parker PD, they are FBI.
They are Parker PD, but they would immediately answer to, the agent in charge for FBI during the investigation. Now, once, like, say, I'll use an example for the homicide we had out here last year and a half ago. If we had one in place, they'd be called out to do that. They would answer to the FBI agents while doing the investigation. When they're not doing the investigation, or they're actively investigating that crime, they revert back to us for the immediate chain of command.
Any conflicts that you foresee?
That I foresee, no. I see a lot of benefits for it. Again, it's just, we're all short-staffed with our agency. One, not being able to handle these investigations because legally we can't if there's a tribal suspect involved. I know the police department, if it's a felony, they have to call BIA and FBI. So again, we're really incumbent on FBI's schedule. They have to call somebody out. This would be helping FBI.
You state no fiscal impact, so are you stating that, like, the hours that they would normally work would basically be reduced from Parker PD's, or can you describe that to me?
So the FBI has two options they can go. If they have funding, they have a full-time, which they would provide a car and funding for overtime, but they don't have the funding right now for this. So it would be on us. If we have, let's say, we have an individual called out and it's outside their normal working hours and they've already worked their allotted time, then they would have the overtime. If we can adjust them out, then we would just adjust their schedule to fit the hours they're working, if we can.
Flex it or whatever.
Yeah, flex it out or adjust them, yeah. So, there's probably gonna be a lot of times we can't do that, just because of the scope of work. If they are being called out for this, it's probably gonna be a complex investigation if it is gonna go federal for this. So, we just want to receive reimbursement from FBI, since it's part-time.
And then would you be able to pull the officer off or assign them, or does the FBI assign them or pull them off?
So we would, are you talking about like,
Just specific cases like the scenario you used.
so whoever the designated TFO is, they would be the one that would go respond to that if FBI calls for us. I wouldn't call them like, hey, you're done, come over here, as long as they're doing that investigation. That's gonna be FBI's decision to do that. We wouldn't be able to have a position and anybody can do it. It's gonna be one specific person, because they have to be cleared, background checks and whatnot through FBI for that. Does that answer your question a little bit? I think.
Well, I was just looking more like if the scope of the project started to creep and go outside, then maybe you go, okay, wait a minute, this is just a little too far. Do you have the ability or the authority to do that?
Probably.
Or does the FBI
I
overstep
think,
you and go,
yeah.
"We're gonna take it too bad."
I think ultimately it would rely with us if we can't do it, like say, manpower issues or whatnot, but I don't foresee a circumstance where we would do that. I mean, I think if it became the scope of the investigation became much greater than what we would be.
They would send it,
They would
send an
have
agent.
more, yeah, they'd have
Plus,
more.
it's a
bodies.
MOU.
Yeah.
A little weaker than an IGA,
Yeah.
is that safe to say,
We're not
Christina?
held in a contract to like, hey, we have to commit
Yeah,
40 hours a week, for this. We have some discretion,
I
yeah,
wanted to know
yeah, I
that
get
for
you.
public record, being on record.
yeah.
Sure it doesn't get out of hand. like-
Yeah.
I don't think
Foresee
I'd
us,
100 hours on
I don't foresee us doing a full-time officer for this, where we're footing the bill for this. Just based on the past, last year, I think it was last year, was kind of an anomaly, we don't see a lot of those a lot of times, but again, there could be, if they have FBI office in Havasu has their agents working on, because they handle pretty much western Arizona from La Paz up to Mojave and into Flagstaff. So if they're all tied up with other cases and something does pop off on, like, say, Fort Mojave, we could be called to handle that. But I don't want to say it's never going to happen, but it could.
That's where I was kind of leaning at, if we have to start sending officers up outside of
Yeah.
the jurisdiction, and it's like, well, that's not really what the intention was.
Yeah, the possibility is there to help. They won't be assigned to full-time. It's just going to be until they can get an agent or BIA to relieve them, basically.
Well, and this MOU states within the town of Parker.
It will be within, yes. That's the primary reason for this TFO position is for this. But like I said, there is a possibility that it could go outside.
being square in the middle of a Indian reservation, it makes a lot of sense to at least, it's just one more certification under your belt, kind of.
All right. A motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and double seconded to approve the MOU between the town of Parker and the FBI for this task force member. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Oh, you got something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Would that potentially open you up for any like federal funding in the future, having that in your department? I mean, I don't know
Yeah, I don't know,
if it exists, but
there are grants that are exclusive to tribal agencies. I don't know, this wasn't discussed, if this opens up that possibility. I don't see how it would, to be honest with you. This is just more of a, another component for investigative skills. I mean, I'm sure it would help us in the future if we were to go, like, say, Department of Justice.
Grants or
Hey, we have an MOU, we have a task force officer with federal agencies. Okay, that's gonna be a check mark for another box, right? To make it more favorable for us potentially in the future.
okay, that's all I had.
And Mayor Hartless, for the record, we'll take Councilmember Shantz as the second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 7, discussion action to approve, deny the submission of the settlement participant form for the Purdue opioid settlement, releasing claims against Purdue in exchange for opioid remediation monies. Nora?
Good evening, Council and Mayor. I'm going to stick this over to our little Christina to discuss with you.
So Mayor and Council, this is another one of those opioid lawsuits. This is like the 4th one now. This one was slightly different in that Purdue is declaring bankruptcy. And so it's part of a bankruptcy action. So some of the terms are slightly different, but overall it's really the same protocol that you've seen before, which is that by accepting and entering into the settlement agreement, you are releasing all claims against Purdue for any type of opioid misuse relating to their products. And then again, in exchange, they're going to be giving money to the state. And then the state has the One Arizona Opioid Agreement that you are all already a part of, and that dictates the distribution. So that goes to the county, and then the county is supposed to confer with the town about how those monies are used for treatment and remediation. And then the county also does all the reporting. So at this point, we don't have like the final number. We don't know what the amount will be because we're waiting. Essentially, the states opt in. Then once the political subdivisions opt in, then they can, basically make a proportion of which county is getting how
Yeah,
the
we've
actual
been down
amount.
this road before.
Yeah,
Yeah, you never know when
It's
it's coming.
anticipated to be like a little amount, right?
it's usually small. Yeah, but it is again proportional based on population. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time this came up, I got all excited thinking, Case can use this money for prevention because we don't have any treatment here, so obviously, but it ended up being just not even worth the trouble, really.
Yeah. But if you're interested in participating, obviously it is more money generally to the state and the county.
Yeah, I say, yeah,
And then we just need to submit the form essentially to participate in the settlement and release the claims.
yeah.
Motion to approve?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the submission of the settlement participant form against or for Purdue opioid settlement. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8, discussion action to approve, deny second holdover agreement between the town of Parker and La Paz County for the cooperative action relating to the animal control shelter Cattery, Nora.
Good evening. This is, like you said, the second holdover. We had the first holdover agreement back in June, I believe. Actually, it was in August of 2024. We are working on getting the entire agreement re-established, but we're also working on building, the county has accepted some money that they're going to be hopefully building a new shelter with. We've had several meetings overall. And this is just the same agreement that we passed, like I said, in August to hold this over to get us to where we can get the new one established. Nothing really new in it.
Yeah, and the town and the county are working together right now with other entities like ARF to try and come up with a plan for this animal control situation in the new shelter they would like to build with some settlement money. So we need to extend this holdover because it would make no sense to renew it now when there's going to be changes coming up in the next,
Exactly.
month or two. And I believe the county's doing the same on their end, so.
I would motion to approve this.
So moved and seconded to approve the second holdover agreement between the town of Parker and La Paz County for the animal control cooperative action. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 9, discussion and action to approve, deny ordinance 02-2025, adoption of the 2018 ICC building codes. Nora?
The Planning and Zoning, the Community Development Department requests the mayor and council to authorize staff to update the 2018 International Code Council building codes and the 2017 National Electric Codes, replacing the current enforced 2006 ICC building codes along with the 2005 National Electric Codes using this ordinance of 02-2025. This was put before Planning and Zoning on June 25th. To replace the current codes. A little background here, the codes are usually updated in a 3-year cycle. Obviously, we haven't done that in quite some time. We're not too far behind. The building codes are established with the minimum requirements for safeguarding of the public health, safety, general welfare through structural strength, means of egress, stability, sanitation, adequate lighting and venting, engineering, energy conservation, and safety of the property. Adopting the 2018 codes will bring the town to a current building safety and efficiency standard, thereby creating a greater uniform throughout the municipalities within the La Paz County. La Paz County did this, passed it, I want to say in January, and then Quartzsite did theirs actually in November of last year. We would be replacing the International Building Code to the 2018 edition, the International Residential Code for 1 and 2 single-family dwellings. The electrical code is always 1 year behind. I can't answer the question.
So
why.
but the latest, this is there's no 2022, 2024, this is the latest codes.
This is yes, correct. So we want to all be on the same, within the county, so our contractors aren't confused as to which entity they're actually working in and what they're doing. We would also be doing the mechanical codes, the plumbing codes, the fire codes, existing building codes. So if they're working on an existing building, they don't have to bring it all the way up to the 2018 brand-new codes. It would be what the existing is and would be able to go up better, but not have to basically tear things down and rebuild. It would also be the fuel and gas codes, property maintenance, and the swimming pool and spa 2018 codes. This time I would take any questions that anybody has.
So you're saying this is for new buildings and constructions, or any ones that fit the previous code that differed than new
It will
codes?
be for all new buildings, and then also your existing building codes would be for your codes that, your buildings that are already built.
So if there's discrepancies, say a building fits previous code, and they fit whatever the previous code was, and we now update this code, and it's more stringent requirements with this new code, they're required to get up with the new code, is that correct?
They would bring up, so yes and no. I hate to do it that way, but it really depends on what you're doing and how much you're replacing. So say you have a building and you had flood damage and it did 60% of your building was destroyed, then yes, you're going to have to bring that all the way up to the 2018 codes. But if it was only 30%, then you're only going to have to bring up that 30% of the building up to the 2018 codes. So you wouldn't have to bring your whole building up. You would just have to bring that portion
So
up to.
somebody's building currently, just because we updated the coding standards, the building standards, just doesn't make them an automatic violation if they don't meet.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It does not.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance.
Moved and seconded to approve the ordinance 02/2025, adoption of the 2018 ICC building codes. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, discussion and action to approve, deny the WACOG fiscal year 26 initial contract for congregate and home delivered meal services for $273,307. Nora?
So this is price fixed contract, is funded by the Older American Act state funding program and has a reimbursement ceiling of $273,307 with a town match of $418,000. The contract period runs from July 1st of 2025 through June 30th of 2026. It reimburses direct services for congregate meals here at the center and home-delivered meals to homebound citizens throughout La Paz County. Approving this contract will support the continuance of both of these important senior programs. So a little bit of explanation here, because it sounds like a lot of money going in and out. And up until this particular year, the town has always funded this solely through our general fund. We talked many months ago about not being able to afford to do the home-delivered meals any longer, and that we were going to speak with WACOG to go with the mom's meals. We have now been able to meet with the county and also with Quartzsite, and we've kind of come up with the numbers as to the percentage of each entity of how much they serve. So right now, as far as homebound goes, we have about 89 homebound meals that are patrons that we serve. 14.6% of those are in the town of Parker. 33.7% of those are in Quartzsite, and the remainder, 51.7% of those are in La Paz County. La Paz County has, we're working on an agreement right now where they're going to pay the town of Parker $8,367.92 per month for the entire,
Quartzsite or the county?
the county, for the entire year. Quartzsite has agreed to pay $5,482.20 for the 12, which will leave the town of Parker only paying about $42,798 for the home-delivered meals.
For the whole year?
For the whole year. So we feel like that's a pretty good number. We're going to look at those at the end of those numbers at the end of the year, and we will true up those numbers to see if maybe the county has overpaid, or we've overpaid, or the court site's overpaid, or if we haven't paid enough, to be able to really get a hard number for next year as well. These numbers are a little bit skewed this year because this is the first time that we've done this, and we did not get as much in grant money as we anticipated being able to get. But I think it's a really good program. I think it's well worth the time and effort that we've put into coming up with these different programs. The Senior Center also does a lot of different things to collect money. The Friends of the Senior Center are also helping out with some of the donations as well. So there's a lot of offset things. So that whole $418,000, some of that's in kind. So anytime we get food from like Walmart or Safeway or Food City, anytime that's donated, we count that as part of our in-kind as well.
So we're not putting
So-
in 418,000,
Correct.
but
Correct.
roughly how much are we putting in?
We're roughly about 209 probably, maybe a little more than that.
That's a lot for 10 people in the town of Parker.
That also includes all the meals that are served at the center.
And
all
there's some income generated
Correct.
too.
So that includes the congregate meals along with the homebound meals.
Was that number that you gave on court site, is that per month also?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're about 66,000 a year.
Well, that's incredible that the two entities are helping out now.
Absolutely. We've come so far.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I was suggesting that when we were talking about that months ago, so I'm glad that it all worked out, that the county and Quartzsite both were willing to do that, and it sounds like they did exactly that.
And you guys will see those contracts here in the next couple of weeks, probably.
With saying all that, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you
carries.
so much.
Item 11, discussion action to consider amending the terms of the joint venture contract relating to the town sewer services. Council may vote to discuss this matter in executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A3 for legal advice and to provide direction to the town attorney for contract negotiations with joint venture and the Colorado River Indian tribes relating to the town sewer services. So I will make a motion, we go into executive session for that exact purpose.
Also,
So moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.